What's going on, my fellow Guardians? Your dude Sly here, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. The season of the Chosen has arrived, and at first, I really was not that impressed. While the battlegrounds are an easy and, I guess, semi-fun activity, they're going to get old really quickly. However, the new exotic quest dropped as a complete surprise, and it is freaking fantastic. The atmosphere, the tunnels, scannables, and secrets on that ship will be a talking point for quite some time. Now, it's only been a little over a day since this new mission launched, so eventually this will all be old information. But in this video, we're going to go over how to solo this mission very easily. I'll have another video coming out a little later on all the secrets that I know about so far. There are secret chests and caches all over the ship, including things like scannables, like a callous head projection, a menagerie ship, and a dead ghost. So, with that, let's get this bad boy started. First off, this mission really is not that hard, but depending on where you're at level-wise in week 2 of this season, you'll probably be under-leveled, so that's really the only thing that's going to make this a little difficult. That and some of the ads can be tanky, and they pop up right next to you. The Screebs and Ravagers kind of surprise you all the time in this mission, so you're going to want to pop on a mod where popping shields or killing with a certain weapon charges you with light, and then the other one you want to slap on is Protective Light. When you get to critical health, the more light charges you have, the more protection you get, and it's a great tool if you're in a tough spot. If I'm soloing anything in this game, that's something I use all the time. You can also use stacks on stacks or supercharged. Those are great companions with that setup. And then you want to throw on mods for rocket launchers. Ammo drops more often, larger reserves, all the ones you can find. Now, they're not necessary, but will definitely help you out, especially if you're not used to soloing things like this. As for subclass, I recommend Stasis for this, and simply due to the fact that you can freeze rushing ads or make an ice wall to stop them, but any will really do. Stasis also has a roaming super, which will help you out in the end, but we'll get to that when we get there. As for weapons, here are my week 1 recommendations. Now, a better loadout will surely pop up later on, but for me, whatever rocket launcher you want to use will work. In fact, I've been using a blue hockey rocket launcher for the past week and a half, and for some reason I'm absolutely loving it. The Gambit launcher works well, but Code Duello works very well, and so far Impact Casing with Frenzy seems to be the most powerful, but anything will work. Truth, also a great option, but if you're running Stasis, be sure to put on a fragment that increases weapon damage when freezing targets, and make sure you have your boss specs on. Next, you're going to want a Scout Rifle. The Raid Scout, a great option, as is Polaris Lance, or even the new exotic Dead Man's Tail works as well. For your third option, and for my primary, I'm using the new primary SMG for this season with Frenzy on it, and Frenzy for some reason is a perk I absolutely love, and it just wrecks with anything on it. Be sure to throw on a major mod, as there are a lot of majors within this encounter. However, if you've unlocked the new grenade launcher, Salvager Salvo, then that is also a great option as well. Okay, so at first, I highly recommend running this with a team so you know the mechanics of this encounter and how to make your way through it. It's not hard, but it is quite a big place with lots to do. You'll also know where enemies are, and if you're doing this solo flawless, that's definitely going to help out knowing where everything spawns. Now, one thing to take note of here is that things unlock on this ship over time. The more times you run this mission, the more things will start to unlock. For example, the very first run through, you can't scan anything. The second run through, scannables will start opening up, and by the third or fourth run through, you can start looking for secret chests, but again, we'll get to that in the next video. Okay, so go ahead, load up the mission, and then make your way around the entrance and jump over to the platform on the wall and kind of snake around the outside of the ship. This will give you the way in. Now, since it's right here, the very first secret, if you've ran it more than 3 times, right here on your left, a vent cover is halfway covered in this darkness goo. Destroy this cover and scan the data pad. This will then open a door to a secret cache. All the others work the same way. So if you want to find them for yourself, just look for these on the ground or hidden around the ship. But again, you need to be running this. I think it's your 3rd or 4th run through. These will start to become available. So what you want to do is make your way through the ship. You need to start pulling levers and exploring to find these glowing spores. Now, just like the dogs encounter in the old Leviathan raid, standing next to them when they explode will give you a status effect. Here it gives you something called the Egregore link. Now, this will allow you to travel through those darkness barriers. However, it wears off fairly quickly, but if it does, simply head back and grab it again. You can grab it as many times as you need. So, once you make your way through the entrance and past the electric barriers, flip a bunch of switches and then make your way down to the trash chute and into this gigantic trash compactor. What you want to do is throw a stasis grenade immediately once you're down there to freeze the enemies, or simply use your grenade launcher to get rid of them. Now on the floor you're going to see grates. Underneath these grates will be fuses that you need to shoot. Once you shoot and break 3 of them, it will stop the walls from moving and then open up a panel in the floor which will allow you to escape. It's marked by the red outline. Now it's best to jump up into the air. This will enable you to see which ones are glowing from kind of like a wider perspective. The fuse furthest from you should be taken out first, as it's closest to the wall, and it's the fuse the furthest from the switch that you just flipped. Once the wall covers that fuse, you cannot shoot it, and that means you're dead. Shooting 2 out of the 3 doesn't do it. You have to get all 3. So get that one first, and then work your way back to the switch on the wall. Once you're done, simply jump down the new opening, marked out by red, and then continue on your path to the very first enemy encounter. Now this next fight is the easiest here, basically. You just want to stay to the bottom right hand side and use this thing here as cover. Launch grenades or pick them off with your scout, but just be careful again of the rushers, screebs, and ravagers. Again, use your stasis grenades or your ice wall grenade to keep them at bay, and then just take them out as you can. Once you free something, be sure to take advantage of that extra weapon damage to take out the majors in the back of the room. Your very first test is going to be located in the ship hangar. Now once you're inside here, you're going to want to go to the right hand side immediately, and you're basically going to fight from here for this entire encounter. Simply clear all the small adds until the ogres are left. Now with all those rocket launcher mods, heavy should not really be much of a problem, at least it wasn't for my run-throughs. The only thing to watch out here for are the screebs and ravagers. 3 screebs will continually spawn on that middle catwalk directly in the middle of the ship hangar, basically where you're fighting from. So as soon as you hear that noise of when they spawn in, get ready to take them out. You don't want to have them pop up behind you, because if 1 hits you, I think it gets you critical. 2 hits you, you're obviously dead. So just look out for that. If you're using Dead Man's Tail, then try to use the precision hit bonus damage on the ogres and use rockets as much as possible. However, always try to save 1 for an emergency. New adds will spawn in once you kill 1 of the ogres, so be on the lookout. This encounter, really no secret here, guys. Just fight from the right hand side and slowly take down the ogres. It might take you a bit because the ogres are pretty tanky, but just do what you can from afar and you'll definitely get through it. It's not really that hard. Once both ogres are down, you can then move on to the next location. So head out the side of the hangar, and then you want to jump around the spaceship and make your way to the back of this area on the top left side of the ceiling. You're going to have to kind of jump your way across all the hanging things. This will be your passage out to the next area. Once you cleared out this encounter, just make your way through the ship and now onto the final fight, and obviously the most difficult is the boss encounter. Now everything up to this point is really not that hard, it's just like doing a strike. However, as you'll see, this too can be a piece of cake, but if you do it wrong, it's pretty difficult. So first, let's go over the steps and things you're going to need to do here. There are basically 3 damage phases. Each one begins by flushing the pipes and cooling the lower level. This gets rid of the fire and allows you to go down there and do damage to the boss. Now on the top level here, there are 3 terminals. One where you entered, one across the room from the first terminal, and then the one guarded by flames in the separate room. Now you're going to need a way to tank some fire damage, and there could be a way to avoid this, but I have not found a way to get rid of the flames solo. So if anything new pops up, be sure to comment that strategy down below. And as usual, if you have any extra pointers or tips, something like that, be sure to leave those down there as well. So to cool the lower level, you again need to flip all 3 switches. Now save the fire switch for last, the one in the room by itself. Now what you can do here is after you flip the first 2 switches, you can activate your super, a roaming super, and you can tank the fire damage for long enough to be able to activate the 3rd switch to do damage. However, saving your super is always a good idea. So if you're a warlock, you can use your solar subclass, then slap on your well and throw a healing grenade out towards the switch, or you can plop down a healing rift at the location. Healing Rift is obviously best, but if you want to save it, then the Healing Nade can work, it's just a bit dicey. For Titans, again, a roaming super will work, but I prefer to use Icefall Mantle. If you have them, these exotic arms will allow your barricade to be turned into an overshield. Now, once you pop this overshield, you cannot run, but it allows you to turn on the switch with 0 problems, and that allows you to save your super. As for Hunters, I really have no idea, at least not yet. I know the new exotic arms that came with Season of the Chosen will give you damage resistance when you use an invisible grenade, so perhaps that will work. but I don't know that for sure. Again, if nothing else guys, just use Arc Strider or Golden Gun to tank the damage. Just pop your super, walk in, flip the switch, and as soon as the switch is flipped, you'll stop burning. Once all 3 switches are flipped, you can then safely go downstairs. Now to make this encounter easy, you want to head to the switch on the opposite side of where you entered the map, as you see here in the video. You're going to want to use this side only. So jump down, blast off a few rockets, and get the boss's attention. Once the boss runs your way, you want to hop back up, and then slowly jump your way onto the pipe on the right side of the wall as you see here. Kind of squat down in this little blank space, and you'll sink down low enough that you'll be able to see the boss fairly well. Just keep launching rockets or grenades his way until the first round of damage is done. Once you get past the very first third of the boss's health, ads will then spawn in, the fire comes back up, and you're going to have to reset. You'll get a lot of screeb, so make sure you take them out ASAP and be sure to clear the area of all enemies, including the ones on the opposite side of this area. Do not leave any of them alive. If you're using a solar scout rifle, all of the Scorn captains here in this encounter have solar shields, so you can keep getting your charge with light back, and once you clear the area of enemies, just simply repeat this process. The hardest part of this boss fight is the last third of his health. Ravagers will end up spawning back to back to back, and that's why you want to clear all of the ads of the room, especially on the far side. This way, if they rush you, you can freely run across the way and be able to set yourself up for shots without running into more ads. Also, in between damage phases, be sure to clear the floor of those unexploded Ravager lanterns. My first solo flawless run was ruined from one of those things exploding, and I didn't even know it was there to begin with. So just make sure you get rid of them to be on the safe side. Once again, once all the ads are cleared, simply go back, flip all 3 switches, lure the boss back to the area we talked about, jump on the pipe, launch a bunch of rockets, and boom, that's really it, my friends. An easy solo guide for the new exotic quest. Now this also makes solo flawless a breeze as well. Simply head to the Strung Up Guardian for your reward. And yeah, that's about it guys. Once again, I'll have a secrets guide video coming up next, so definitely be on the lookout for that, as I'll highlight all the cache locations, the secret chests, as well as the scannables like the Callous Head, the Dead Ghost, the ship, etc. But that's it for me, Guardians. As always, thank you for not only watching, but for supporting Sly Nation. If you're new to my channel, then welcome, Guardian. I hope you enjoyed it, and feel free to comment down below if you have any other useful tips for others. Know of any other mod combos, better weapons? Let me know down below. Subscribe for plenty more Destiny 2 guides and videos. Spank the thumbs up or down if you liked, loved, or hated this video. And if you wish to get in touch, business or otherwise, SlyNationGaming67@gmail.com, or feel free to hit me up on the socials at Sly_Nation on Twitter, SlyNationGaming on FB. Take care, y'all, and keep those eyes open for more vids coming out here soon. But until then, this is your dude Sly, and I'll see you all in the next one.